Hi guys, thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. And for those of you who are here for the first time, my name is Catherine and I tell true stories and realities. Today I'm going to tell you about the truth of living and working in the Gulf, the reality. And by the Gulf, I mean the countries like Dubai, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. I don't know whether Lebanon is included. Well, these Arabic countries that practice the kafala system. The kafala system is a system whereby you are sponsored. There is a company that sponsors you to work for its premises. So most of the people working in the Gulf are under a sponsorship, although some of them sponsor themselves, as in they don't need somebody to pay for them to live in the Gulf. But these people must be earning a lot of money or spend really a lot of money for them to maintain their life in the Gulf. So your sponsor owns you. That's how it is. It's like your sponsor owns you. And so when you need to move to a new company, it's like you're moving to a new sponsor, and it is not very easy for you to move from one company to another. It's not like your own countries like Africa, Europe, US, where you get tired of one job and decide to move to the next and just give a notice and go. No. In the Gulf, there is a bit of complications, although Dubai has tried to improve it a bit. Yeah, I think Dubai has left the system of you have to ask for permission, things like that. So the process, this is now just about the jobs. We will move to the other things as well. Now, when you come to work in the Gulf, do not think that it is going to be like your country, wherever you're coming from. Some of you are coming from very liberal countries, especially Europe, for example, and you might find it very hard with the culture, especially when it comes to dressing, things like that. Maybe you're used to wearing skimpily, not so much covered, but when you come to the Gulf, you need to be very, do not expose so much of your flesh. For example, I cannot go to a government office like this. I cannot go to a hospital like this. This is considered naked. I walked into one place like this, and I was stopped by a security. I was like, "What's up?" And he told me. So I was like, "Ay." I looked and was wondering what on earth is he talking about. So for them, this is like a buttock. A buttock. You need to cover it. You should not display your shoulders. You should not display your knees. Things like that, especially in government offices. As in outside, you can walk like this, but when you're going to a place like a bank, a hospital, or any premises of business, you should not have your shoulders open. Although some people have become very daring and they're wearing spaghetti tops, a bit of display of their tummies, well, when it comes to the season of fasting, which is called Ramadan, it becomes more strict, and people can be penalized for just their mode of dressing. No matter how hot it is, it's not your problem. It's not their problem. Now, as we were talking about employment, Once you resign, of course, you will give a notice like any other country, but there is a long process that you have to go through before you move to a new company. Either you will leave your country, you leave the country that you're in and come back as a fresh person to a new country, to the same country, or you have to go through a long procedure of having to fill up online things, and then you will receive a message to show that, oh, your application has been accepted, oh, your application has been rejected. Also, depending on your current employer, your current employer can sabotage your chances of moving to the next company, given an opportunity, and depending on what kind of employer you had. Either they have a say on your moves generally. It's like you don't have freedom for anything. You have to rely on them for every step. And this now causes some employers to take advantage of their employees by frustrating them for having left them even if they needed to, or just to annoy them, make things difficult for them. But there are good employers who will just let things flow as they are, and they will assist their ex-employees to move forward to the next opportunity, even especially if it's better than what they were offering and they could not offer this employee what the other company was offering. They will make it very smooth for them. So the system is called kafala system, and this makes it very difficult. They own you. Everything needs to be, permitted. Can I resign, please? You need to ask for permission. Not like in your own country where you say, hey, boss, take my resignation, I'm out of here. The boss has no say. Can I resign? Yes, you can. No, you cannot. How? How do you stop? I mean, this is somebody who wants to move forward. How can you stop the person? Like, I reject your resignation. Why? Why should you do that? It's like you own the person, you control the life of a person. So this is how it can be in the Gulf for those of you looking forward to come and work here. Now, when we come to accommodation, well, they depends on where you're working. The government people get a lot of money that they can live as good as they will have lived in their own countries, their own houses, their own, compounds, their own freedom, a lot of privacy. But if you're working for companies like hospitalities or private camp sectors, normally the salary is good as per your country, your original country, but it is on the expensive side when it's put in Qatar. If you're to survive on the salary that you are paid in the private sectors and you want to own your own house, yes, you can. But it means you're going to really sacrifice a lot. You might just own maybe a room, a self-contained room. Well, that's good enough to eat your salary if you're working in a private sector. You will just have your own house, but that means that you will also not get a means of transport because the people in the private sectors and even those who are working for government as well are provided with the transportation to work and back, food at work if you want, but people opt to cook for themselves because they get fed up of the monotony of the food in the staff cafeteria. But even the government, as good as they pay their employees, they still give them transportation, they still give them food in the cafeteria. So it just depends on what you're working for. And by the way, they're also under the kafala system. Just because they're working for the government does not exclude them from that. They also need permission to go and work in another place. It has been known that some people have lost very good offers just because of the system. Somebody is earning a lot of money but gets another company that gives maybe triple the salary, but they lose the opportunity because the company that they're working for does not want to let them go. So they make things hard for them to transit to the next company so that they keep them. Some companies might just want to keep them and maybe increase their salary because they're very productive. But some companies might want to keep you just to keep you, to frustrate you. I don't like you, so I don't want you to go ahead. I am not happy when you go ahead and you've left me. Things like that. So they're different companies. Accommodation for the private sector mostly is shared. You might find yourself with a different nationality in the same room. You get to know each other. There's a lot of diversity. And you don't expect privacy, because you're going to share a room with somebody you did not choose. So you need to learn how to get along with different people. But sometimes they try to put the same nationalities together, but still doesn't work. It's like forced marriages, something of the sort. And then we come to the weather. Man, it is damn hot. It's a desert. The Gulf is a desert. The temperatures are soaring up to 54 degrees, 50 degrees. Now imagine if you don't have a car, you have to use an Uber or you have to wait for a bus. That means you're going to somehow walk in that heat. So most of the people prefer doing their shopping at night if they don't have cars. So maybe they can walk around because at night the weather is okay. But still there is winter, which is very cold as well. So those are the temperatures in Qatar. Transportation, of course. Do not think that you'll just walk out if you're using public means and then get your public means. They're timed. The time they're supposed to appear is the time they will appear. It's not like in Africa or other countries where you step out or Europe. Well, in Europe also they're timed, but there are many. You will come, stand at the bus stop in the soaring sun. Maybe some bus stops have some air-conditioned sheds. You'll stand in the soaring sun for like half an hour if you don't have the timetable of the transport. So you need to have a timetable of the means of transport before you start moving out if you're using public means. So that you know that the bus is about to appear in 5 minutes, then out you go. At least you can get burnt for 5 minutes only. Scorched by the sun for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes only. So that's a bit of the life in the Gulf, in case you're planning to move to the Gulf. Next is do not expect to get citizenship of the Gulf. You will not get it. Most of the people don't want anyway. Most of the people come to the Gulf to work, get money, collect enough money, and go and do projects back in their countries, but not to come and settle here. However, some people have settled here, but still it will not be their home, no matter what. They will work here forever, but it will never be their home. Their home will always be their home. You'll never be given citizenship like the US or France or things like that. No. Come, work, go. Collect money, go. Well, if you have very good monies, well-paying companies, it could be a nice home for you if you can tolerate the weather and the climate. That's how it is in the Gulf. But still, we have the other part of the Gulf where their house helps. The house helps here are treated differently. Let's face it, they're treated differently when they're going for medical, because everybody has to go for medical when you are coming to the Gulf or any foreign country anyway. They are not put together with other people like human beings. They have to be separated. House help this way, non-health help this way. But you're going to do the same kind of medical. So the separation is kind of a bit strange. They're just human, but they have to be separated from other people when they're doing their medicals. That part I have never understood. Yes, you need to do medicals to be in the Gulf. You need to be tested for HIV, you need to be tested for hepatitis B and C. X-ray has to be done for any signs of tuberculosis. Well, you need not to have any contagious diseases on you. However, if you have a disease that can be cured, you will be allowed to work, but you will undergo treatment as you're working. For the hospitality, they need to go for a physical test as well. About things like rashes, things like that. So that you need to be treated, not to be sent home, but to be treated. But if you're found to be HIV, of course, you will not work. You will be sent home immediately. Things like that. Or TB also, you will not be issued a health certificate that allows you to work. And a company can be sued if they allow somebody to work without a health certificate. So that's just part of the life in the Gulf. That is the life in the Gulf. So if you like my content, like, share, and subscribe. Ciao.